You're there, thinking that becoming the doormat this time will open the doors to her heart, right? Believing that being the good guy, always available, will take you somewhere beyond the whatever zone. Free spoiler alert, she's not interested. Know why? Because you handed over all the control on a silver platter. But relax, Uncle here is going to teach you the secret. Detachment. That's right. Learning to not care so much is what's going to change the game and make her see you with different eyes. The same eyes that so far only saw an emotional rug. Oh, and before anything else, let me be clear. This video is here because someone before you had the decency to like, comment, and subscribe. So, if you think you can just suck up the content and sneak away, it's time to rethink your concepts. Click that like button, subscribe, and while you're at it, drop a thanks in the comments. Not for me, but for the blessed algorithm that decides if this reaches more people who also need a virtual wake-up call. Now, enough beating around the bush, let's get straight to the point. Number 1. Why the hell are you trying so hard? If you're the guy who's always available, who solves all her problems before she even notices, congratulations. For being the emotional equivalent of a doormat. Yes, straight up. Overexerting yourself doesn't make you seem attentive or special. It makes you seem desperate. And you know what desperation attracts. Nothing but pity or boredom. Let's face the facts. When you're in that "I'll do anything for you, just look at me please" vibe, the only thing you're communicating is that your self-esteem is an abstract concept. In short, zero value. Because guess what? When you live begging for attention, the world quickly learns to ignore you. Now, let's clarify one thing. Kindness. Wonderful. Interest. Necessary. But turning into a shadow that follows her even in her dreams? Ridiculous. What you're saying with that dogged devotion is, my life is worthless without you. And let's be honest, that's boring. Nobody wants to date an emotional restoration project. So, do yourself a favor. Remember all the times you rushed to respond to her messages in record time and got a, okay in reply. All the times you canceled plans only to realize she didn't even care. Yeah, while you're sweating to impress, she barely notices your existence. Because surprise, nobody values what's handed to them effortlessly. And you know what's really tragic? When you realize all that effort is pointless, what do? You try even harder. More messages, more compliments, more "what do you need?" And the result? She runs in the opposite direction. Not because you're bad, but because you've become predictable and boring. Interesting people don't mold themselves to what the other person wants. Interesting people just are. Period. The great irony is that while you think being the perfect guy will make her fall for you, you're only reinforcing the idea that she's in a position of absolute power. You're not standing out, you're begging to be noticed. And you know what she really wants. Someone who doesn't need her to survive. Excessive effort stems from insecurity, fear of losing, the need to please at any cost. But sorry to break it to you. Relationships based on fear don't last, and they shouldn't. The secret lies in balance. Show interest, sure, but for God's sake, don't become the employee of the month in her life. Want to know what changes the game? Detachment. That's right, learning to stop caring so much. When you start respecting your own time and your own life, something magical happens. She realizes you're no longer begging for approval. And you know what's better? You realize it too. Because at the end of the day, it's about seeing yourself with new eyes before expecting someone else to do it for you. Number 2, why detachment makes you more attractive. Finally we've reached the crux of the matter. Detachment. No, it's not about becoming insensitive, treating the person badly, or playing hard to get. That's childish. True detachment is a silent declaration that your life is so amazing that her presence is a luxury, not a vital necessity, like oxygen. Now think about it. Why are people obsessed with rare things? Because what's hard to reach has value. It's the universal rule of scarcity. And guess what? In the game of relationships, it works the same way. If you're always on standby, never saying no and making her feel like the center of your universe, congratulations. For being more predictable than a margarine commercial. Now change the scenario. You're the guy with a full schedule, who has his own life full of friends, hobbies, and goals. You show up, of course, but never like a puppy wagging its tail. That sends a clear message. I'm self-sufficient, confident, and yes, valuable. The result? Suddenly she starts seeing you with different eyes. Curiosity kicks in, and interest grows. But let's set expectations straight. Detachment isn't disappearing for a week, ignoring messages, or acting like a jerk. That's not detachment, that's lack of manners. True detachment is about balance. You prioritize yourself without belittling the other person. It's making it clear that you're such an interesting person that, to deserve more of your time, she needs to earn it. And what makes this work? The shift in emotional dynamics. When you're not always available, don't give all the answers, and aren't always in the same place, something magical happens. You become a mystery. She starts wondering what you're thinking, where you are, why you're not on WhatsApp at 3 a.m. And guess what? That doubt is the fuel for attraction. Detachment is the art of making it clear that your life doesn't revolve around anyone, and that's exactly what makes people want to revolve around you. Detachment and confidence, a combo that transforms the perpetual crybaby into the man who truly matters. Let's make it clear. A guy who practices healthy detachment is silently shouting to the world that he is enough. He doesn't need anyone fawning over him to feel good, nor is he seeking validation in every seen message. And guess what? That confidence, so rare nowadays, is magnetic. A practical example to rub in your face? You know those people who are always busy, focused, living their lives without depending on anyone? Yeah, those people aren't attractive because they play hard to get. They're attractive because they have a life. And when you have an interesting life, your time becomes a luxury item. And what happens with valuable things? Everyone wants them. The more you value your own time, the more others learn to do the same. Now here comes the big secret. Detachment isn't just about appearing confident. It's about truly seeing yourself as someone complete. It's internalizing that you don't need anyone to complete you because, plot twist, you're already whole. This mental shift impacts all your interactions. You're not there to please. You're there because you want to, and that alone changes the game. But hold on, handsome. It's not about going around like a cold robot. Showing interest, affection, and care is essential, as long as it comes from a place of wanting, not needing. This balance transforms everything. When you show interest without looking like a desperate clearance sale, the impact is brutal. And let's bust an important myth here. Detachment isn't manipulation. It's not playing games, being sweet, or creating elaborate strategies to keep the other person guessing. That's teenage behavior who watched a TikTok video. Real detachment is authentic. It's about being so comfortable in your own skin that you simply don't need to exaggerate to be noticed. And guess what? That authenticity makes all the difference. Now let's ditch the emotional punching bag vibe. Tired of being the ego's takeout, right? The one who accepts any emotional garbage and still thanks them? Then here's the ultimatum. Turn off that doormat mode now. In the description, there's a book that's not a crumb of self-help, but a manual for emotional survival. It will teach you how to get out of that I'm too good life and become the guy any woman respects, or else bad luck to her. Enough begging for attention. You're not clearance stock for anyone to buy at banana prices. It's time to become the man who, if he's not valued, simply doesn't care. If they want you, they stick around. If they don't, good luck with the next idiot. Number 3. How to apply detachment without looking like an ass. Now it's time to put into practice what you've learned without seeming like you're cosplaying as a narcissist. Detachment, when applied correctly, is about being confident and balanced, not a cocky jerk. So, here are 5 practical steps for you to use detachment like someone who knows what they're doing without scaring people away with gratuitous arrogance. Step 1. Control the frequency of contact. Be honest. How many times have you dropped everything to respond to her message like it was a fire alarm? Yeah, it's time to stop. Responding on your own time isn't rude. It's a subtle way to show that your life doesn't revolve around her. If she sends you a message and you reply within milliseconds, you know what that says. That you have nothing else going on in your life. Now respond calmly, without seeming like you're timing your replies to get back at her. It's about creating a natural rhythm, showing that you have priorities. The result? She starts to realize that if she wants your attention, it needs to be worth your time. Step 2. Have an interesting life. Seriously, detachment without substance is just empty posing. No point in pretending you're busy. You need to be genuinely busy. Discover hobbies, invest in your career, connect with friends, and take care of your health. If your life is full of purpose, you won't need to force anything. Your natural absence will already make an impact. And the bonus? The more you live, the more interesting you become. Conversations change, your energy changes, and she'll start to wonder, what is he up to that's so great? And when you meet, you'll have much more to offer than just, hey, how was your day? Plus, an interesting life has another magical effect. It proves to yourself that, with or without her, you're great. This self-sufficiency is the foundation of true detachment. Step 3. Never beg for attention or validation. You know what's worse than being predictable? Being needy. Sending multiple messages in a row, demanding responses, or asking what she thought of that meme you posted is the emotional equivalent of throwing yourself at her feet, begging, "Notice me, please." Spoiler, that's as attractive as a Saturday morning math class. The key here is simple. Let her come to you. When you're confident and comfortable with yourself, the need to seek validation evaporates. And the funniest thing? The less you seek attention, the more she wants to give it to you. Now, for the love of all that is sacred, stop using social media as a stage to call attention. That story full of indirect hints? Pathetic. And yes, she notices. Step 4. Be firm, but not rude. Detachment is balance, my friend. It's not about turning into an emotional ice block. Education, respect, and empathy are still the foundation of any healthy connection. The point here is to be firm when necessary, without falling into rudeness or cheap drama. For example, if she does something that bothers you, you don't need to swallow it or pretend everything's okay. Be direct and say clearly, "Look, that doesn't work for me." But do it with maturity, without yelling or making a scene. Maintaining your standards is like saying, "I respect myself enough not to accept just anything." And guess what? That's extremely attractive. People respect those who have firmness, but nobody tolerates those who confuse being confident with being unbearable. Being firm is making it clear that you know what you want, without seeming like you're emotionally defensive. The secret? Mutual respect. She'll realize you're not the type to accept any crumbs, and that makes all the difference. Step 5. Reinforce boundaries. Here's a truth that might sting. Nobody respects those who don't respect themselves. Therefore, reinforcing boundaries is mandatory. And hold on, it's not about playing sheriff and creating a rule book of what can or cannot be done. It's about having clarity in your standards and acting when they're not respected. If she disappears for days, ignores you, or plays emotional games, don't let it slide. You don't need to yell or create drama, just be clear. Something like, "Look, I enjoy talking to you, but reciprocity is important to me." Says it all without resorting to rudeness. Reinforcing boundaries is just you showing that you know what you deserve and that you won't settle for less. Common mistakes and how to avoid them. Now, a basic warning. Many guys interpret detachment as vanishing off the map or ignoring messages on purpose. Terrible idea. Disappearing or giving the cold shoulder doesn't make you seem confident. It just makes you seem childish. Nobody likes emotional games, and that only creates hurt and resentment. Another mistake is turning detachment into a manipulation tool. Like acting as if you're inaccessible so she values you more. This might work initially, but it's unsustainable and in reality, exhausting for everyone. True detachment isn't a trick. It comes from a genuine place. You're busy being amazing and living your life, and that's what makes people want to be around you. Why detachment is an internal, not external change. Here's the key point. Detachment isn't about what you do, but about who you are. It starts when you decide that the main focus of your life is yourself. It's not selfishness, it's emotional intelligence. When you prioritize yourself, take care of your self-esteem, and live a life full of purpose, that confidence shows effortlessly. She won't be interested because you followed a list of magic steps. She'll be interested because your energy confident, authentic, and self-sufficient is irresistible. Time to put it into practice. You already know what to do. Control contact, value your life, maintain balance, be firm, and reinforce boundaries. Now there's only one thing left: act. And remember, detachment isn't a button you can turn on and off. It's a habit, a daily choice to put yourself first and let the rest of the world follow, or not. Because at the end of the day, the real game of detachment is this: knowing that with or without her, you're doing just fine. Thank you. So let's summarize here so you don't leave this video looking lost. Detachment isn't a cheap technique, it's an upgrade in how you see yourself and conduct your life. When you stop begging for validation and prioritize your own happiness, the game truly changes. You don't need to become a wall of coldness or put on a little show to attract attention. What you need is to be someone with purpose, clear priorities, and enough self-confidence to not live on emotional crumbs. Start with simple actions. Respect your time, invest in yourself, and for God's sake, never beg for attention. Now do yourself a favor for your emotional sanity. Analyze your recent interactions. Were you showing value or chasing after crumbs like a marathon runner? Because starting today, that has to change. Value yourself first, and let the rest follow the natural flow. And look, I want to hear from you. Have you tried practicing detachment? Was it a disaster, a victory, or are you stuck in the middle? Share in the comments what you thought of the concept and what you're going to change in your approach moving forward. Oh, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe, because honestly, if you don't do that, not even the algorithm will respect you. In the end, change starts with you. And relax, I'm here to give you that necessary push to stop being an extra in your own life.